Ladies and gentlemen, I have a story of diversity and inclusion. In fact, this is a story of such diversity and inclusion that it excludes anyone who's not on board with the diversity and inclusion. It just splooges diversity and inclusion. So Cheltenham Secondary College, right, a high school in my communist home state of Victoria, has released a new uniform item. It's a puffer jacket with an LGBTQIA plus XYZ flag on one sleeve and an Aboriginal flag on the other sleeve. News.com.au says, students' initiative to include Aboriginal and Pride flags on school jacket blasted by parents. The optional uniform item initiated by the school students has sparked outrage from parents because of two tiny features. Now this is some tricky language. You see, the puffer jacket is optional. You don't have to wear it. They've got a normal jumper. But if you want the puffer jacket, then you've got to have the gay and Aboriginal flag on it. And when they say initiated by school students, I reckon it was initiated by the student council. You know the types, the ones that want to get brownie points on their record so they can look all altruistic in their university applications. The story goes on, parents have slammed a secondary school for introducing a puffer jacket featuring the Pride and Aboriginal flags. Cheltenham Secondary College in Melbourne southeast first offered the jackets for sale for $89.95 in May. The jackets are non-compulsory and offered as an alternate item to the soft shell jacket. Now let me tell you, Melbourne gets bloody cold in winter. If I went to Cheltenham High School, I'd want a puffer jacket, but I'd apparently be forced to don the gay and Aboriginal flags by these goody two-shoes virtue signalling student council types. The jacket includes the school emblem and the words respect, responsibility, personal best and community. One sleeve has the Australian Aboriginal flag and the other the rainbow flag. The flags, which were initiated by the school students, have sparked outrage from parents who have attempted to remove them, which the school reportedly says was in breach of its uniform policy. See, you're not even allowed to take the flags off. You've got to be on board with the diversity and inclusion. And if you're not, you're excluded. I mean, I'd love to see what the school had to say if a student was to say, take off the gay pride flag and patch on an Australian flag. Would they seriously get in trouble for that? I bet they would, because Australia is a capitalist, misogynist patriarchy. And I bet if a student was to say replace the gay pride flag with, say, a trans flag, no one would utter a word. Because you're only included if you're the right kind of inclusive. Otherwise, you're excluded. I call it exclusive inclusion. A Department of Education spokesperson said the student community had suggested the jacket design. The jacket was initiated by the student community and it's not a compulsory part of the uniform, they said. School uniform policies for our schools are determined by school councils. Like all of our state schools, Cheltenham Secondary College is proud to be a safe and welcoming school. What did I tell you? It's the school council. It's the student council. Now you know what they're thinking. They're thinking, oh, the LGBTQIA++ XYZ have been discriminated against and targeted. So we're going to put these patches on our uniforms to be inclusive. But if the LGBTQIA++ XYZ community have been targeted, then what happens when a Cheltenham Secondary College student gets targeted outside school? Is that on the school? You see, the truth is, by and large, the LGBTQIA++ 1, 2, 3 community aren't targeted. And this is a massive virtue signal. An inclusive, exclusive virtue signal. And as far as the Aboriginal flag is concerned, we've got a referendum coming up in Australia for a thing called the Voice to Parliament. Now, a yes vote would actually change our constitution so that a select group of Aboriginal people get more influence over our parliament and our legislation than the average Australian. Now, how much more influence do they get? No one knows. They haven't spelled it out. It's just a dangerous unknown. I'll be talking more about the Voice to Parliament soon. But you can see the situation that might put some students in. If you refuse to wear the jacket with the Aboriginal flag on it, you're against current political virtue signalling thing. You must be a racist. Anyway, the story goes on. Penny, whose son attends Cheltenham Secondary College, spoke with 3AW host Neil Mitchell on Monday and revealed the school would not allow students to remove or black out the flags with a marker. I think the fact that they have those flags on a school uniform is disgusting. It's not right, she said. It's a school. It's not a political statement. Why do specific people get things on the uniform? Another caller named John said he'd heard from a source that parents trying to remove the flags were told they were defacing the garment. They should stick to educating our kids, he said. Another told Neil Mitchell that non-Christian students who removed the flags from the jacket were left alone. Mitchell called the move an attack of woke. Now that is interesting. It might be hearsay, but if non-Christian students who remove the flags are left alone, then isn't this kind of just targeting Christian students? I think this is just ridiculous. Like I said, it's exclusive inclusion. You be our kind of inclusive or you're excluded. Anyway, if you've got any comments, leave them down below or at my super duper gay half stepbrother-in-law's Twitter account, bskills with 3 L's and an at the start. I'm also on Rumble, so if that's your thing, subscribe over there. I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.
Recession, session. Give me better times, give me better times. Recession, session.